The baseball world has been rocked by a development that nobody saw coming, and the story that is emerging in the hours following Game 3 has completely taken over every major sports network, social media platform, and baseball community across the country. Aaron Judge, the towering captain of the New York Yankees and one of the most recognizable faces in all of professional sports, has found himself at the center of a controversy so serious and so unexpected that it has left the entire baseball world struggling to make sense of what exactly happened after the final out of Game 3 was recorded. And at the heart of this storm stands Shohei Ohtani, who has now taken the extraordinary and highly significant step of filing an official complaint against Judge with Major League Baseball authorities. What did Aaron Judge do after Game 3 that was so outrageous and so unacceptable that it pushed Shohei Ohtani to take formal action? What exactly is contained in the official complaint that Ohtani has submitted to MLB? How has the Yankees organization responded to the news that their captain is now facing a formal investigation? And what consequences could Aaron Judge be looking at as MLB begins to review one of the most serious complaints ever filed by one superstar player against another? When the final out of Game 3 was recorded and both teams began making their way off the field, everyone in that stadium and everyone watching on television assumed that the tension of the game would simply dissolve into the usual post-game routines. Players would shake hands, coaches would huddle, and the focus would immediately shift to preparation for Game 4. Nobody could have imagined that what was about to happen in the moments following that final out would completely overshadow everything that had occurred during the game itself. Nobody could have predicted that a single action by Aaron Judge in those post-game moments would trigger a chain of events that would send shockwaves through the entire sport. Eyewitnesses who were present near the field in the immediate aftermath of Game 3 described a scene that left them visibly stunned. Several reporters and stadium personnel who were positioned near the field level confirmed that they witnessed something involving Judge and Ohtani that immediately struck them as deeply inappropriate and completely out of character for a professional baseball environment. Word spread quickly through the stadium and then almost instantly across social media as people who had seen what happened began sharing their accounts of the incident with the wider world. Sources close to the Dodgers organization revealed that Ohtani was visibly disturbed by what had occurred and that team officials immediately surrounded him and began discussions about how to respond. According to those sources, there was no hesitation within the Dodgers camp about whether the incident needed to be formally reported. The organization made it absolutely clear to Ohtani from the very beginning that they fully supported whatever decision he wanted to make and that they would back him completely regardless of what path he chose to pursue. Manager Dave Roberts addressed reporters in a packed and tense press conference following Game 3 and confirmed that the Dodgers were fully aware of what had transpired involving Ohtani and Judge after the game. Roberts appeared calm but serious as he spoke, and it was immediately clear to everyone in the room that this was not a matter that the Dodgers manager was willing to brush aside or minimize in any way. Roberts stated that he had spoken directly with Ohtani and that the welfare and dignity of his player was his absolute top priority above everything else, including the series itself. Roberts said that what had occurred was completely unacceptable by any standard of professional conduct and that the Dodgers had already been in contact with MLB officials about the situation. He confirmed that Ohtani had made the decision to file an official complaint and that the entire Dodgers organization stood behind that decision 100%. Roberts also made it very clear that he expected MLB to treat this complaint with the seriousness and urgency it fully deserved and that the Dodgers would be watching the league's response very closely in the hours and days ahead. Freddie Freeman spoke to reporters after Roberts concluded his press conference and his words carried a weight and gravity that immediately made clear just how seriously the Dodgers were taking this situation. Freeman said that what had happened after Game 3 was something that no player in any professional sport should ever have to experience and that Ohtani's decision to file a formal complaint was not just the right decision for himself but for every player in the league. Freeman said that there are lines that simply cannot be crossed in professional baseball and that what Aaron Judge had done after that game had crossed every single one of those lines. Freeman revealed that the atmosphere in the Dodgers clubhouse following the incident was one of quiet fury. He said that players who are normally focused entirely on preparation for the next game were instead gathered in small groups discussing what had happened and expressing their support for Ohtani. Freeman said that he had personally spoken with Ohtani and that despite everything, the Japanese superstar remained composed and focused, which in Freeman's words was a testament to the extraordinary character of the man that the entire Dodgers roster was privileged to call their teammate. Mookie Betts also addressed the media and did not mince words about how he felt about what had occurred. Betts said that Aaron Judge is someone who has always been presented to the public as a model professional and a leader of men, and that what happened after Game 3 was completely at odds with that image. Betts said that the players throughout the league would be watching how MLB responded to Ohtani's complaint and that the message the league sent through its response would say a great deal about the values and standards that professional baseball truly upholds when faced with a genuine test. Betts added that Ohtani's decision to file an official complaint took courage and that it was exactly the kind of response that the situation demanded. He said that staying silent in the face of something this serious was simply not an option and that Ohtani had done the right thing by ensuring that the incident was formally documented and investigated by the appropriate authorities. Betts said the whole team was proud of how Ohtani had handled an incredibly difficult and unexpected situation with complete dignity and professionalism. On the Yankees side, the reaction was one of visible discomfort and carefully chosen words. Aaron Boone faced reporters in what was clearly an extremely uncomfortable press conference and acknowledged that the organization was aware of Ohtani's official complaint and the serious allegations it contained. Boone said that the Yankees respected the process that MLB had in place for handling situations of this nature and that the organization would fully cooperate with any investigation that the league chose to conduct. When pressed directly about what Judge had done and whether the Yankees captain would be making any public statement, Boone declined to go into specific details but said that the organization had spoken with Judge and that further comment would be inappropriate while MLB was conducting its review. Sources inside the Yankees clubhouse described the mood as deeply tense and said that there were significant divisions among players about how to feel about what had happened and how the situation had been handled in the immediate aftermath of the game. Legal experts and sports analysts who appeared on television throughout the evening noted that an official complaint filed by a player of Ohtani's stature against a player of Judge's stature was an extraordinarily rare and significant event. Several former MLB officials who spoke publicly said that the league would be under enormous pressure to respond quickly and decisively given the profile of the players involved and the massive public attention that the situation had already generated. The consensus among analysts was that MLB had no choice but to treat this with the highest possible level of seriousness. Major League Baseball released a brief official statement late in the evening confirming that it had received Ohtani's formal complaint and that a thorough and independent investigation had been immediately opened. The statement said that MLB takes all complaints of this nature with the utmost seriousness and that the league was committed to conducting a fair, complete, and expeditious review of all available evidence before reaching any conclusions or announcing any decisions regarding potential disciplinary action. As midnight approached and Game 4 loomed on the horizon, the baseball world found itself consumed not by strategy and statistics but by a human drama that had taken the sport completely by surprise. Shohei Ohtani had stood up for himself in the most formal and consequential way available to him. The entire Dodgers organization stood firmly at his side. Aaron Judge and the Yankees faced a reckoning that nobody had seen coming. And Major League Baseball faced perhaps its most significant test of leadership and integrity in recent memory. The eyes of the entire sports world are now fixed on what happens next. How will MLB respond to Ohtani's complaint? What punishment will Aaron Judge face? And when Ohtani steps back onto that field for Game 4, how will the baseball world respond to the man who refused to stay silent? Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel for more interesting and up-to-date baseball news and stories.